You can do anything if you set your goal, acquire the knowledge to achieve it, and without fail, do the work day in and day out. Friends, the market wasn't good to us today. We pulled our trade on the S&P 500 this morning when the bottom dropped out of the market. Down for the day 2.42%. Just cannot sustain that up movement. That is all right. Things don't always go our way. And they did not today. We're heading down in the morning, a little further down in the afternoon. Went red on the STC on the half-day chart, still green on the 2-day chart, but a big red down candle forming there on the weekly chart. We've gone from a green spinning top for the week to a red spinning top, still green on the STC. So we'll see if the third time's the charm. I'm going to be slow to pull the trigger on that, just like I was on the NASDAQ 100, which crashed significantly more. We talked about the problem with that. Although it was green on the STC, it was right there below the 200 EMI as we looked at that prior candle from yesterday afternoon, up some in the morning, but sort of dying in the afternoon. And our big problem that we had on that was the fact that as I zoom things back, you can see how far below the 200 EMA we were on the 2-day chart. Even though we were green on the STC, we were in what we call, again, a downward trend on the 2-day chart. Same with the as far as where things were going on the weekly, topping out there. And even though it was above the 200 EMA, we were seeing some weakness there on that weekly chart. We see where it was weakening last week, weakening more this week. So again, primarily that intermediate chart, little bit of weakness showing on that weekly chart, just did not make us feel comfortable that move was going to be sustained. So we didn't do that trade. And of course, that paid off for us. We didn't lose anything on that one. And we do see the 2-day losing it, heading down. Now we may start seeing the 2-day convert over to a down move. Maybe this weekly too, because we've seen on the weekly chart, we've seen the bottom wick penetrating. So maybe the market's going to go into some hard sustained down moves. That's okay. We've got both SH on the S&P 500, Sierra Hotel. That is the inverse fund on the S&P 500, and PSQ is an inverse fund on the NASDAQ 100. Now, there are other inverse funds. These are just the single inverse funds that we practice trade with you. And we'll see if things do go strong negative. We'll be ready to jump into those. By the way, Patreon members will be working on your weekly vertical crossovers, getting those out to you. We also have for you the charting cryptos and commodities training that I recorded last night. We have that to go out for you also. Now, let's look at where we are on bonds. As we look at where things are, we had that last attempt to jump into bonds. Things just died, rolled over. What we see happen today, up in the end 0.15%. Not a whole lot, but we do see 2 green candles there. STC is still red on the half-day chart. 2-day chart, we are well below the 200 EMI. I have to really crank this in for you to find it. There we go. So we are in down move territory. I would just say we're in a down trend there. We haven't recovered from that yet. Weekly, same kind of thing. A few weeks of up movement, but things had gone quite negative for quite a while on bonds. And we will see if that is slowing down or just sort of digesting some of these upward gains and getting ready to move up. Just do not know at this point. What about gold? Well, that gold trade did not work for us either. We tried. We jumped in and immediately started weakening on us. And, of course, pulled us out in the morning, down 1.64% for the day on gold. We're still above the 200 EMA. We went negative, went from green to red on the STC. We look at where we are on the 2-day chart. It was above. Everything was looking great. And then, of course, it's crashed down. And we still are green on the STC. Got a big red down candle there, just pushing through, trying to push through the 200 EMA on that 2-day chart. Where are we on the weekly chart? Of course, long wick on the top where we've lost some of that upward energy. Still reached a higher high, most recently this week. But again, smaller candle, STC still green. So we'll see if gold's got anything else to go or if just everything going so negative is going to drag it down too. And as far as Bitcoin goes, we can see Bitcoin down for the day 2.13% as the market itself was moving over, like I said, everything but bonds. And again, bonds up just a little bit, 0.15%. Bitcoin down in the morning and the afternoon. We look at where we are on the 2-day. And of course, the 2-day went from a nice big green up candle, that prior 2-day candle, to a little bitty plus sign, a little doji right in the center of that prior candle. STC still green. We look at where we are on the weekly. And of course, as we sort of bring things in and take a little bit longer look, remember this only goes back, I have to really crank it in even for you to see that. This only goes back, wow, that's a lot of down movement, friends. Okay, we only go back to November the 15th of last year. That's when this fund was created, when the SEC approved these 3 short-term close-month Bitcoin futures. Reason that we chart XBTF for you is XBTF is the one with the least amount of fees associated with the Van Eck ETF Trust. That is a Bitcoin strategy fund. So again, as we look at the weekly chart, we can see some up movement over the last 2 weeks. But again, Bitcoin's got a long way to go to recover. We look at where we are on the 24-hour Bitcoin on this weekly chart. We can see we've got a ways to go before we get into positive territory with an upward trend above the 200 exponential moving average. That's where we are, folks. We always love to hear from you. Don't hesitate to reach out to us, cw@chartingwealth.com. We'll continue to track these markets on a daily basis and try to make sense of them. Complicated world, complicated market, but that's okay, friends. You don't get there without practicing. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. If you follow the always winning method, you only have to win 4 out of 10 times with a 2-to-1 risk-to-reward ratio where you balance your trades, you reduce trade size based upon volatility. It works over and over again. Prove it to yourself by practicing with us every day. God bless all the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.